welcome back to a new Ludwig Fusel video. In today's video, maybe we can also put in a face cam today, because this is a special kind of video. Hello, here I am with my new microphone. I hope everything is fine. We are here in D3D12Ez, and what we want to do today is we want to transform D3D12Ez into a beta application. How do we do that? Well, we're going to do it with multiple steps. Today I'm going to start with the first transformation of the project. I want to completely rewrite the build system. No, I think inside graphics, yeah, it is no longer working with it. So what I want to do today is I want to transition that code into a new build system, and that's important to do it because we want to have external dependencies, we want to have a bit of infrastructure around, and we basically want to make it better. And to make it better, we need a bit of better build system. And why do we need it? Dependencies, etc. All the stuff that is fancy and that C++ and Visual Studio do not give you out of the box. Alright, so I'm actually gonna open this up in Visual Studio Code. I hope that I have it already open. Yeah, there it is. Let's close it here in Visual Studio and let's open up in code. Now currently you can see we have a build directory with all of our binaries in here, object files, and everything is fine here. Now what I want to do is I want to now first of all get rid of everything that's currently in here that's not required. So I want to delete the build directory. I want to delete the .vs directory because it's also not required. .github issue templates bug report. Interesting. I have a template in here. Okay, nice. That's good. I have not encountered that, but could be that I played around with these. Right, you can see that we have the source in here with all of our project data. We have a git ignore that's currently ignoring all the build files. Also, that's gonna go. Why do you not have an update here? Why do I not see the git view? I don't care. We need to fix that later. Then you can see that we have a solution file and that we have a project file and we have our sources, and that's good. That is actually fine, but what I want to do is I want to transition that into a new project system. Now I'm going to use my moxpp template for that. What do I have here? My 2D rotation matrix, so moxpp. Actually, why do I seem not completely rigid? Why can you watch through me here in OBS? Is that NVIDIA broadcast detecting my shirt as not being opaque? Interesting. Okay. It's okay. As long as my head is not, cannot watch through my head, but you can actually watch through everything here. Is that intended? Is that OBS or what? What is going on? Blend mode, normal. Okay. But I think it's actually fine, as long as my head is not transparent. But yeah, that's not what I wanted to do. moxpp, my template, here on GitHub. Where is it? Do you really think that I can get my tutorials, but not my template? If I look for it, that's not nice. But yeah, we can take a look at my video and download the template from here. Actually, this was a video here getting... yeah, a few views at least. Alright, so here we are in GitHub. This is my template. Why am I not signed in? For what reason? But okay. And yeah, what I want to do is I want to quickly download the template as a zip. I'm going to download this as a zip because it's easier for now to just download it. And what I want to do is I want to copy all of that. I want to copy that to Visual Studio Code, which means that I'm going to reveal this in the File Explorer. And what I want to do is I want to make a new folder. I name it whatever I want to just quickly spill in all the data. Let's take the app directory, the script directory, and all the files in here. The only thing that I don't need is the readme.md because we already have one. And then I should be able to merge them in here. And then I also want to take the build.lua file from here and put it into my sources directory. And then we can delete the temporary folder. Alright, so now we have updated a bit of our system. You can see that we have new Git attributes. We have git ignore, a bit of different git ignore. We have our mox stuff. We have the SLN that's now ignored. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm also going to completely delete it. In source we have our project file. This is also what I'm going to delete because this is going to be regenerated with new names. And now we have source. Now what I want to do is for MoxPP, I want to actually, or not for MoxPP, but for my new framework, D3D12Ez, I want to actually separate this into two projects. I want to have my, it's kind of like my runtime. I'm going to just call it runtime. And then I'm going to have applications. Runtime, and instead of runtime, we maybe have D3D12Ez. This is kind of like now a library. And inside of D3DEs, I want to put in all my code, but not main. So let's put this into ease. And then we have a folder called apps. And then I want to have called this example. And into example, I'm going to put in main.cpp. I think runtime has a build.lua, so I'm going to copy that one over as well. So now we have example and D3D12Ez. What I want to do here is, first of all, I want to customize the build.lua of example. Now this is going to be called example. I'm not going to give it a different extra name, just example. So like that, CPP20 is also good. And this is a console application, that's also okay. So let's make it a console application. And what I want to do is I want to add a link declaration so that I link to something. I want to link to several project names. Now I want to mainly link to my D3D12Ez. D3D12Ez is what I want to link to. And then we are good with that declaration here. Now we just need to apply a declaration here for that build.lua. This is D3D12Ez. And it's not going to have a different library name. And then I'm going to specify it for a static lib, because it's going to be a static lib. And this is then going to be good for here. Only thing that I want to now alter as well is maybe instead of build.lua, since we also need to link against the Windows libraries, let's also link to d3d12.lib, dxgi.lib, and maybe we can quickly see on GitHub what I had for D3D12Ez. I think I also linked against dxguids, I think. Let's see. Yeah, these are all of my links that I had for the original code. So D3D12 dxgi is already in here. I just need the dxguids. And now I basically also link against these linked libraries, so everything is good and configured correctly. Now what I want to do is I want to configure my mocks in general. So I'm going to go to mocks.lua and I'm going to change it from that to D3DLEs. I'm going to have multiple configurations, not only debug and release. I'm going to have a development configuration. This is going to be the configuration that we'll from now on also use for inside graphics. Maybe let's make this with tabs. Debug, these are the only debug configuration is the actual debug configuration. All other configurations are release. So I'm going to configure it like that. Then I'm going to configure the project architecture, which is hierarchical because we have a two-dimensional folder layout, apps, runtime with the projects in its subdirectories. Then I'm going to have a prefix D3DEs. D3ES is a bit better. D3ES underscore is my prefix for macros. And then what I'm also gonna do is I'm also gonna I'm gonna keep it simple for now, so this is good. Now I wanna configure my Conan file.py and I wanna include spdlog. Yeah, maybe let's add these the spdlog wchar options in here. There's only like a issue with the new lines here. There we go. Now spdlog should support that. I think spdlog has a more recent version available. Spdlog is here. Yeah, 01.12 is the latest one. Aha, okay. No, we just copied the version string. Alright. 1.12.0, and everything else should be good because we have pre-make and everything is set it up correctly. And now I want to generate my new project by opening a new terminal, and I'm gonna run the command mox init to initialize it. It's gonna download the dependencies, it's gonna make sure everything is good, and then we're gonna have a bit of a problem as soon as my solution is generated. Let's open it up. D3D12Ez.sln. And let's take a look on how this works. Now, first of all, you can see that we have my apps and that we have the runtime, D3D12Ez runtime, and that we have the application. And the code is still going to be the same, but you're going to notice that our includes will no longer work because we have a problem with our include path. This is something that we can fix actually, but it's not that easy because we need to configure it at 2 sides. So pre-make is actually, if we take a look at these, configuring the include directories, probably somewhere here, libmux, lua, like include dears is configuring it like that. I wanna copy the directive and modify it for my own purposes. First of all, the example app is requiring new include directories as well. I'm gonna leave them out, and I'm gonna go to workspace location, source, runtime, D3D12Ez, and this basically allows me to use the same include path that works or should currently work from the runtime's point of view. Yeah, for the runtime's point of view it works, but not for the application because that's include path does not set it up correctly. This should add it in here, so we could run another mox init. And then if I reload that, the include path here, so it should be also okay. And if I now run my example, it should hopefully work. The only thing that's not going to work are the shaders. We're going to have a problem with the shaders. The shaders are not going to get compiled. They might going to get compiled, but not correctly, if they even get compiled. Yeah, there you go. The shaders have a problem. Why do the shaders have a problem? Because basically if they have been compiled, they have not been compiled correctly. Because I think they are even like in the runtime. No, they haven't been actually even be included in the project, so they have not been even be compiled. Now I want to put the shaders actually in a different directory because I want to handle the shaders my own way. So actually inside the app directories where currently the Auge is, oh, they have merged it, that's nice. The Auge is, I want to delete that working directory, and instead of app I want to create a folder called textures. And instead of textures, I want to move that one. Then I want to have a folder shaders. And inside of that shaders folder, I want to have my shaders. So instead of having the shaders in the runtime, because this is no longer a runtime thing, I want to put these into the shaders directory up here. Can completely delete the folder. And then I actually want to create a subfolder in here. And I want to call that one, what is the app's name? Let's call it example. And then inside of example, I want to put my shaders. And actually, actually, I might not want to call that shaders. Let's call these passes, because we're going to have render passes. Later on, we're going to move to a render pass architecture. And then we have the example pass. And instead of that, I also want to have a definition file of the pass. So I'm going to have a render pass. Or how do we gonna call it? Just pass.yaml or .json. Let's use JSON for that, because I think I might have some code laying around how I could define a pass in JSON. And then we would have like a configuration like shaders. And instead of that, we're gonna have shaders, and then I'm gonna have a vertex shader defined, a pixel shader defined, And we're also going to have a root signature that's going to be defined so that it knows how to build the path. So root signature is root signature .hLSL vertex shader.hLSL and pixel shader.hLSL, and this is basically now the architecture that I want to follow. Of course, it's not going to compile because nobody can read that. And what I might also want to have is I want to have like compiler definitions for the shaders. I could also have like maybe that one again in an object, and maybe define this as a file always, and have the other compiler options somewhere else. Right, because this is how we do it. And then we're gonna put it in here. And I kind of like have the file definition in here because on the internet in our old project here, VCX project, we had somewhere down here the HLSL configuration. Globals? No, where is it? Pipeline? None include. Where is my shader configuration? There it is. Here it is, pixel shader, root signature, and you kind of like have the name here. For example, the root signature is that one. And then we could like specify the shader model like that. And what we can also do is VS60 is a 6.0. I don't know how are the how does it work. Let's take a look on how the commands work there, how the shader works with the developer command prompt, DXC, and then I can do DXC help so that we get information on how DXC currently operates, the version that we have installed. And if I scroll up, we're gonna have a list of all of our profiles. And the root signature profile is not in here. Interesting. Why is the root signature profile not in here? I think it might be because there's like a separate option to use root signatures, right? Like there. Root signature define. But normally there should be a profile for the root signature as well. However, I don't care. This is kind of like __ for the names. We need to find out how we can compile root signatures later on, but this isn't a problem. I have done that already. There's also a way to set the root signature, to verify these, and also to strip the root signature data from shader bytecode. And I think it is kind of like compiling it with strip. It's kind of like reading the root signature with the define, read from define, and then it's stripping it off into AFO. So it's kind of like not a profile. So actually we do not need a shader model for the root signature. But for the other ones, VS is the profile, shader model. Now come on. And then this down here is the pixel shader. And I basically wanna traverse these data and read it from there, from the render path, and then I wanna dynamically compile these and dynamically make them accessible. Yeah, that's kind of like the idea that I follow here. And yeah, this needs to be all done. So as you can see, we need JSON. So let's add JSON to the project. Conan.io center. There is it already, and Loman JSON. It's not loading. There it is. It's loading. You can see the download graph. Can copy JSON. and we can require JSON. And now JSON is in here. We can run another mocks in it to make this all initialized correctly, because many things have changed. And now we have our code in here. Everything seems good. It should still compile, but it's probably not going to run because we have a problem with the shaders. There you go. So you can see we already have like here debug, development, and release configuration. This has all worked. And now basically what we have now is we have transitioned the code of D3D12Ez into its own like better managed repository. And if I take a look at these Git changes, I can quickly validate them. Here you can see that this one has actually been modified. This is not good, because actually I want to delete them completely, because currently you can see that our like projects are going to go to Git. It's not good. You can see that these are all deleted properly. Shaders, com pointers there, everything is basically like moved to a new location. Only problem that currently is here is that you can see that D3D12Ez is not reflected. And the problem here is that the file is still existing and it was on Git, but it's ignored. Need to delete that file so that it works. And now it's also here deleted. New repo layout. Do we want to commit this to the same branch? Or do we make a temp branch? Probably want to do a branch as long as I'm not doing it. I hope that it will keep my changes. New feature, new layout. Now we are on the feature new layout branch. Then we can publish this branch. Now it's on Git. See, everything is here still fine, and in the new layout we have the new moxpp layout and repo, and we can later on here do a pull request. I don't know why I'm not signed in actually. Should have been. Alright, so this is the first video where we are gonna move towards a new layout. In the next video I wanna get my code compiling again. So what we're gonna do in the next video is creating a shader, hot reloading and compiling. Alright, so thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe, and have a nice day. Bye.